Hi there. I don't usually make videos this late, but Tom is so excited that I'm doing this that I decided I would do it right now for Tom. And what I'm doing, can you get by, Hunter?
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm doing, I used to do this when we lived in the Crane Creek area of Idaho. And I would make like a bread mix. And I think at that time I did it with 13 cups of flour, and I put it in a big kettle type thing. I had 2 refrigerators. I kept it in my refrigerator, and every morning I would take out a lump of dough and make Tom some bread.
Yay!
I haven't done that lately, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to tell you what I've done. Oh, that looks like yeast in there. Oh well. Anyway, I bet it was yeast. Anyway, I'm going to tell you what I've done that you haven't seen. But before I start, I want to thank the new subscribers. Thank you, thank you. And I feel like I've almost arrived because I finally got a thumbs down. And it surprised me on what video it was. It was on the one where I find the chicken. Now, I'm going to make a couple of assumptions. Did I get a thumbs down because I didn't look for the previous owner? And I wouldn't even know how to do that here because there's 10 acres behind us that's just field, even though, yeah, we live in town. This is my little country farm in town. And the other thing is we talked about clipping its wings, which we haven't even gotten near that little bird to even do that, and we decided not to do it because it roosts in the orange tree and it needs both wings to keep it warm at night. And chickens run normally at 109 body temperature, and so remember, birds sleep outside all the time, so I'm not too worried until it rains. And unfortunately there's no rain due. They told us that this week in October, about last week, we may have a rain, but that was just to cheer us up because now no rain is in sight. So on now with what I'm doing today, or this evening, I'm making this bread mix, and I'll tell you what I've done. And it's out of a book, and if you were going to get the book, you would want to get the revised book, and it's Healthy Bread in 5 Minutes a Day. And I measured out, I'll tell you in cups and in grams, and I measured it in grams in my little bread thing, and I want to save this, so it says bread on there, yum. That's what it says. Okay, I put in 5.5 cups of whole wheat flour, which is 720 grams. I put in 270 grams of all-purpose or organic. Oh, I think the other's organic too. Okay, and then I'm going to put in 15 grams of yeast, in a dry yeast. I'm going to, wait just a minute, I was going to do it with my hands, but maybe I'll do it with this. Okay, then I'm going to stir that up in there. Okay, and then they called for 15 grams of salt. I put in 11 because I'm not sure we want it as salty as they do. So I'm going to start out that way. If I do this again, I'll know. And in Crane Creek, I did it over and over again. And when you do it over and over again, you never want to wash this again because it will build up flavor. And I hope this is food grade. It had food in it once, so I'm assuming it is. Okay. Then Now, this is not for people that are gluten intolerant by any means, because what I'm putting in right now is 35 grams of vital gluten flour. And the reason I'm doing that is because, and this is from Bob's Red Mill, it's added to bread dough to help it retain the gas and steam from baking and gives more volume to the baked bread. It can be especially helpful for baking breads made with coarse whole grain flours and cereals. Well, this doesn't have coarse, but it's whole grain, and eventually, if this turns out well, I'll get out my flour mill and I'll start milling my own grains. Okay, so we're doing that, and then it says to put in 900 grams of water, which is 4 cups. And I've got in a 4-cup thing, but I want to measure it out. I bet that doesn't hold. Oh yes, it's going to. What did I say? No, it's, well, maybe it will. We're at 811, 850, 870, 900, exactly. Okay, believe it or not, I think we just dump this all in here. Okay. Oh, I think it's okay. Yeah, I think so. Okay, yeah, let's see. I think I just want to put it in there. We're not kneading it. It says do not knead in black, dark colors. Oh, and I just spilled it on my cookbook. Okay. And then I'm not kneading it, I just want to stir it around and get it all mixed in there. And they only want it a few minutes to do that. And I'm almost done, and it's a very sticky dough. Oh, you know, I could do a better job with my hands. Okay, and I don't want to knead it, so I'm going to, it's at the very bottom, it's not, oh, yeah. There's still flour that hasn't, okay, I think it's pretty much all done. Now if I can just get it off my hands. Oh, it's like making mud pies. And there's just, well, I'm hoping that it, I can see a little bit of the dry stuff. Now, no, it's pretty much gone. Okay. Okay, this step is done in a matter of minutes and will yield a dough that is wet and remains loose enough to conform to a shape of the container. Now, cover the dough with a lid. And we made a special lid. Did we put 2 holes in it, honey?
No.
You know, I still think it should have 2 holes. I don't think that's a big enough. He put a little hole in it, but I think it should have a bigger hole. And I'm not snapping it down, but I'm going to leave it there. And it's to stay on there, and you leave it for 48 hours. Let's see, how do I do that? Cover the dough with a lid that fits well, okay. Leave it open a crack for the first 48 hours. Allow the mixture to rise at room temperature until it begins to collapse, at least at approximately 2 hours at room temperature, and then after rising, refrigerate it. Okay, so it has to be loose for 48 hours. It has to rise out here for 2 hours. Then it goes in the refrigerator, and then we can start making bread out of it. And so the next time you see me, I'll take a small portion of it out and I'll form it into bread and put it in the oven and bake it. So that's my plan. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. I hope it turns out well. I could have added a little more water. I think I will. Because I think there's still some of this, yeah, dry down here, and I don't want the dry. I want it all wet. There. And it said you could do that. So I did it. Yeah, they're still at the bottom. Maybe if I turn, it said not to knead it, but okay. I put that thing, now I gotta scrape it off with something else. Okay, that's it. That's enough fun and games for one day. And if this turns out, I'll give you more of a recipe how to do it if you would like it. And this is the beginning of 5-minute bread. Well, it's supposed to take you 5 minutes to get it ready to put in the oven. And it should make about 4 loaves. So that is it. And I'll tell you good evening. I don't know if I can, if I have one clean hand. There. So thank you for coming, and come again, especially when we have